Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at, I think, a number 2 team in the world from, I think, a Japanese player. There was a video that I saw from someone showcasing this one. I'm going to link it down in the description as well. But yeah, apparently this is one of the best teams in the world here with the Shadowfire Relegator in the lead, having access to Ice Beam as well on this Pokemon. We're going to have the Altaria in the back and also the Registeel. Registeel, actually kind of interesting. I kind of want to see real quick where it is on the meta ranking. I know it was at number 1 for a long time. I think Annihilate is currently number 1, but like it's still very, very highly rated. But basically next to nobody is using it, right? Like I barely see Registeel at all in nowadays meta, and it's kind of interesting, I feel like. I don't know why this is really the case. It's quite nice against Pokemon like Mantine, for example. We can go for that Zap Cannon to do quite a lot of damage. As you can see here, Annihilate is coming in against us as well, so they can go for the Zap Cannon again. Registeel is actually still number 1 on the ranking on PvPoke, which is kind of interesting. We see the attack coming through there as well, the attack drop, which is kind of cool. And so we can, I think, just go into the Altaria most likely. Altaria can take any hit, especially after the debuff, and so we are going to be in a quite decent spot. Night Slash is doing no damage, they swap out. I can even let this move go through. I don't really care too much about this Ice Punch either, because we can still survive that one. And now Feraligatr should be able to just finish up this job. We can just go for a double Hydro Cannon. They don't do enough damage. I think we want to see Impeta here as well, and this is going to be it for this game, as the Annihilate is gonna get farmed down. So, moving on to the next opponent, we're going to have a Talonflame in the lead, and this is quite an interesting one here as well, because for whatever reason the opponent decides to stay in here. Like, this is such a bad matchup for the Talonflame, is kind of wild, especially just staying in here is kind of wild, as you can just go for the Hydro Cannon. We're gonna get the shield, and they swap out into the Poliwrath, and this is the one big talking point I want to say about this team, and about the current meta in general. Like, I'm still kind of somewhere around, like, leaderboard Elo range. Poliwrath is on nearly every team right now. It is completely mad. Like, why all of a sudden this Pokemon got such a huge buff, I don't really know, but I really want to build a complete counter team to this Pokemon, just because it is annoying me completely. And if you take a look at the team, my lead dies to it, my Sayswap dies to it, which is usually the Registeel, by the way, and Altaria is of course that double weakness against it as well. By the way, take a look at this play that I'm now gonna do. I just had to go into my Registeel here, of course, and I'm gonna just predict them swapping out, so I can go for the charge move without them really being able to punish me for it. That was kind of risky. If they stayed in with the Wigglytuff, I would have lost this battle, but I had to kind of do this play there. Next opponent, we're going to have a fairly decent lead for us, and oh, look at this Poliwrath. And like, this is going to be something that you're going to see the entire way through. Yes, I could have stopped out here earlier into my Altaria, of course I could have done that. I was just like, I don't know, like, it is really tough for me to find really an answer for that Poliwrath. Poliwrath is quite an awkward Pokemon to deal with. Here I can still, I think, win the zero shield scenario, which is quite nice, but they're usually going to use a shield here anyway. And so I'm going to be forced to go into my Altaria. You know what's also kind of awkward? We're going to be forced to stay in here, because no matter what they're going to have in the back, while we are debuffed, we kind of have to stay in. They're very likely going to go back into the Gligar, hopefully at least, because look at the Pokemon that we have in the back. We're going to have our Registeel. Now, like, what is Registeel supposed to do against a Gligar? And so, yeah, this is the thing as well with like a lot of the top tier leaderboard teams. A lot of times they don't really work out too much in like normal meta, or like, yeah, in the lower elo ranges, just because it's a lot of times just built to counter the exact same teams that you're going to encounter while you're up there, and they are just different compared to what you see, like, I don't know, 200 points below of that. And so it's sometimes a little bit tricky. Here we're going to see the Lantern coming in, which is actually going to give us some kind of hope, especially as I decide to go for the Surf instead of the Thunderbolt, which is going to allow us to go for that Zap Cannon now. Trying to fish for the debuff might help us still win this battle, and we do get the debuff here as well, which is going to be quite nice. There was one battle, I'm not too sure if it's going to be in here today, where I went for 3 Zap Cannons back to back to back and didn't get a single debuff. That is also quite unlikely, I think. I don't actually know the chance for that, but I think it's just like, I don't know, like, it's a very, I think it's like a 2% chance or something for this to happen. But as you can see here, we're going to be able to go for the full farm. Now there, you saw, by the way, as well, I don't know if I wouldn't see Impeta, also something I kind of want to take a look at this real quick as well. But you saw like the crazy lag there, which was not allowing me to click any charge move there, but still we can at least win this battle. Next opponent, we're going to see a Lickitung in the lead. Very bad lead for us. Still, our team can deal with it. I kind of want to go ahead and go for a Hydro Cannon and try to catch the next charge move onto our Registeel if possible. I think this is going to be our best play of playing this battle. And yes, it's actually going to work out. Hopefully it's going to be the power whip. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be the power whip. It is going to be that body slam as they swap out into their own Poliwrath. And I was like, yeah, I can survive a Scald easily here, trying to go for that Zap Cannon. And so we should get a shield from the opponent. Or they're running Dynamic Punch, which completely changes anything and everything here. Like take a look at my team. Like, what am I supposed to do against Poliwrath with Icy Wind and Dynamic Punch? And again, I think that's now the 4th battle so far, and 3 times Poliwrath against me. I don't know, like, let me know in the comment section, are you encountering so many Poliwrath as well? Is it just me? Like, all of a sudden this Pokemon is everywhere and I really want to counter it. Not gonna lie, it literally annoys me the entire time when I battle against it. So, like, it does make sense that, of course, people are running it, but it is literally such a plague right now. We're gonna be able to go for the Sky Attack here as well, get the final shield. I can try to catch a move. What I caught is very likely a Dynamic Punch here. I was sure about this as well, and yes, it is. And look what they have in the back. It is something that I would have not been able to beat anyway. At least you're going to see the exact same Pokemon here. Again, it's going to be the Azumarill. Azumarill is going to be something that I just also not really struggle with, actually. It's actually kind of fine, especially facing it in the lead. You will be able to win this, I think, as a Shadow Feraligatr in the 2-shield scenario, no matter what, because the Shadow Claw damage is adding up, and you just have to hit 2 Hydro Cannons then as well. Player-Off is going to be shielded up there as well. They have a resisted Force move, we have resisted Charge move damage, and we're going to be able to still get to another Hydro Cannon in time if they want to use a shield. Fine by me. I should be able to go for the full farm down afterwards, but they decided to even let the move go through. Here we're gonna see a very bad fast move timing by me. Don't know, I think I kind of got confused because I was 1 over anyway. But it doesn't really matter as the opponent goes straight for a charge move here. This kind of lost me like, I don't know, like 1 turn or something in terms of the Shadow Claw damage, but as you will see, the opponent swaps out into the Vigoroth, which is going to be quite an awkward matchup, but we can swap out here. And this is the funny thing about this kind of scenario here. While they have counter, which is super effective against my Trash Can there, we're going to be able to resist all the charge moves, and so all the energy that they just gained against Altaria goes to waste now, as all of it is going to be resisted. We can still go for even a Zapcan to try to debuff them even further, and we are going to be in a fairly solid spot. We're going to get the debuff here as well, which is quite lucky. Of course, 66% chance, I think, to get the debuff from a Zap Cannon. They go for their Body Slam, knock me out, which is fine. But we're still going to have our Altaria now. We have a ton of energy, we have a ton of health. I do not have to use a shield here. It is just going to be the Body Slam as well, which is hilarious. Now we can just go for the Sky Attack spam. And I should be in a decent spot, right? Let's find out here. I decided to use a shield now because Rock Slide would hurt quite a bit. But we have to hope that they don't swap out. And I think there's nothing in the back that really can stop me here, right? I think I can just farm down whatever they had in the back. It is going to be that Charger Bug, and it's going to go down. Next opponent, very decent need here, Lone Sandslash, made a video about it recently as well, very solid Pokemon, Mantine swapping in. You can kind of take some advantage of the lead there as well, like the say swap there of Mantine, because you can just get some energy on your lead to counter later the Sandslash a little bit better. Here we were able to get up 5 Shadow Claws, because after 5 false moves from them, they would be able to go for an Aerial Ace, and I don't want to take it on my Feraligatr. We can knock them out there. I can also try to go for another charge move here against the opponent, but they're gonna go for that drill run, which most likely is gonna take me out, as well as I can try to go for a double Hydro Cannon now against them. I think this might be a CMP tie. I will always win this matchup. Like, there's no way of them winning this matchup against me, but they actually make a great call here. Knowing that they still survive that Hydro Cannon with a few HP, I am going to be forced to use a shield. Now they're going to have their own Feraligatr in the back. I think I'm still going to be fine, but I have to kind of try to hit some moves. I have to hope they also have not the Ice Beam. If they have Ice Beam, this might be over. They have a lot of energy here. I decided to use a shield. It's going to be the Crunch. Of course, they get the debuff immediately here as well, which is a little bit annoying. But Crunch I can still take, while anything else would have been a little bit tricky. They make a smart play again here. Like, this player is definitely very good. I think I battled them as well at the Utrecht tournament like a year ago. I think I beat them though. So I will be able to go ahead and go for the Sky Attack now against them. They decide to use a shield. I can go for the full farm down, go for a charge move, and even go for the double resisted. Ice Beam against the Sandslash just to BM them. So a good game there, and we can move on to the next opponent. Let's take a look here. We're going to have Feraligatr against Feraligatr. Some double Gator action. You kind of really want to win the lead. Like, you kind of want to win the lead with this team. So just go ahead, use your shields, go for the Hydro Cannons, have a great time with that. But apparently here, and you're gonna see me doing that here as well, I lose a CMP tie. And for me, this means that I will always lose this matchup. but I still survive that one Hydro Cannon, and so I will be able to get a double shield advantage against the opponent, which I clearly gonna take there. And we're gonna be in a very decent spot, right? Kinda. I think this is going to be one of the battles that I kinda have some regrets about. Here we want to see the LilyKatchum. All fine so far. Like, actually, everything is perfect because now I can swap out into the Registeel. I stayed in for the Altaria for a little bit there, just because I can get some Dragon Breath damage onto them. And with the Dragon Breath damage, we should put them into a range where Focus Blast plus Lock On Down is enough to knock out the LilyKatchum. That's why I wanted to stay in for a little bit there, because this is going to help us not use another charge move against the opponent. If you just go straight for the Focus Blast, usually it would not put them into a range where you can farm them down. But look at this, it's literally perfect. And I make another mistake though. You're gonna see it now. The opponent is going to swap into their final Pokemon, Clodsire. I thought it would be a smart idea to go for the Zapkin, try to debuff their attack, knowing of course it's going to be double resisted. And yes, I get the attack drop. This was silly. This did not make any sense at all in hindsight. Why? Because they still have the Feraligatr in the back, and the Feraligatr has some energy. They can go for Stone Edge here no matter what. I would have been able to swap out after like a little bit of time anyway. And Stone Edge, even with a debuff, is not going to help me at all. Like, look at this. Like, it literally would have not knocked me out with a debuff, without the debuff, and like with the debuff as well here, it's going to two-shot me anyway. So, like, there was no real reason for me to do that. I have to keep my shield now, but they can swap onto the Feraligatr, and sadly, they're just going to outspeed me, and so we can move on to the next opponent. Definitely a misplay by me. I should have just kept my energy on my Registeel, and I definitely had a way better chance of winning this battle. But it's what it is. You know what also is what it is? We're going to see here another swap from the opponent into the Feraligatr against my own Feraligatr. And we can go for another Hydro Cannon, try to force a shield or the knockout. I take the knockout here. And if they go back into the Swampert, they're going to have a little bit of an issue, because look at this. We're going to have the Altaria for you. And so this is going to be awful for them. We're going to now take that Hydro Cannon from that Swampert. I kind of want to make a Swampert team as well, but I feel like it is very difficult to play this Pokemon right now, just because also Poliwrath completely destroys Swampert, which is kind of annoying. Anyway, the opponent is running a triple starter team. I think a triple shadow starter team as well, which is kind of cool to see. Charizard here in the back is going to be a Pokemon that we can still use a shield against. I kind of want to go for the next guy attack in time, but they're actually going to outspeed me, which is fine. I can still just use another shield, keep my Altaria to Dragon Breath down the Swampert later. Can just go for another charge move. They were likely going to use a shield. I can swap out into my Feraligatr, and if they want to catch the move, that's fine. If they don't want to catch a move, that's fine. I can just go for that Hydro. This Hydro is going to take them out, and also the Swampert has no chance of winning this battle anymore. They're just way too low. Like, I could go even to my Registeel and lock on them down if I want to be funny, but I think I'll just go into my Altaria and call it a day, and we can move on to the next opponent. Charger Bug in the lead, again, is kind of an awkward one. I kind of like to stay in for a little bit and then just go for a Hydro Cannon, and then just go for another fast move afterwards, and then swap out. You can also just swap out straight away, which is going to allow you guaranteed basically to not get a charge move onto your Feraligatr. By the way, I think with a recent update, which you just saw as well, if you swap in a shiny Pokemon, I think that's like the battles like were light at the evening here now, where the update was just live for me. They're actually going to have the shiny sparkles appear, which is kind of cool. So like that's, I think, something that changed and was not the case in Go Battle League before. Definitely the update we need for Go Battle League. Like, screw like the very bad kind of implementation of the battle pass, or like the lack of new updates, or no new cups for like I think a year now. Stuff like this we don't care about, as long as we have shiny sparkles now in the Battle League, which is of course always kind of nice. I think it's like a new feature, to be fair, because I cannot remember seeing ever shiny sparkles in the Go Battle League, and it is cool though, like definitely nice, but again, like there are so many things that are wrong currently with the game, where I just wish that Niantic would put a little bit more effort into it. We can just only hope that the next season is going to be better. I think it's going to be better based on what they usually do for the next season, so definitely stay tuned for this. Sadly, they have Ice Beam here, which is kind of killing me the game plan. Don't think there's a way of me winning this battle anymore. Feraligatr is going to go down here. We're going to see again the Charger coming in. This is going to knock me out, and so yeah, this is going to be a good game. Nothing I could have done there anyway. Kind of annoying, but let's move on to the next opponent. Registeel. That is going to be a fairly neutral lead. It's going to go into an Azumarill, which is totally fine. The cool thing is, Azumarill basically always uses currently Play Rough and Ice Beam, so like we're kind of safe with our Registeel here, right? Of course not, they're running Hydro Pump. And so, yes, we can go for another Zap Cannon here with our Registeel, But it is going to be a tough one because now they're going to be quite low and they're going to be debuffed. But also, we are still forced to use a shield if you want to align ourselves. So yeah, I can try to go for the full farm now though, which I am not going to do because I'm a little bit too scared because I didn't count the moves from the opponent because I'm like too lazy or whatever. And so I decided to go for a charge move instead. They go back into the Registeel. I can go for my own big focus blast. If this connects, we're going to be in a great spot, and we are in a great spot as I swap out into a Mantine. I can try to catch a move now as well onto my Altaria. And basically, we put us in a spot where we're in a prime position to just sweep this game now late on. The only awkward thing that might lose me the battle is if they have Ice Beam, and I'm just gonna call that they don't, and this is going to be so important for me, because if they had Ice Beam, this battle would have been so much different and like so much worse for us. But like this, we're definitely going to be in a spot where we can just let the moves go through, and I am going to be able to just take that aerial ace like it's nothing. We can try to go for another charge move here as well with the Sky Attack. Oh, they catch it on the Registeel, that does not matter at all. We can just even swap out into my own Feraligatr, go for a charge move, force. I think they have still a final shield. Let's see if they're going to go for it. They don't, and yeah, this is just game over, and the opponent knows it as well. And so that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.